On the days when you're having a bad practice session, or you're having an off night on stage, or you're trying to record a cover song for YouTube, but you keep messing up take after take, and then you watch your favorite players nail that song so effortlessly, and you start wondering if you'll ever play at their level, for those days, here are 5 things to remember that will make you feel better. First, when you watch your favorite players play on stage, or on YouTube, or at a clinic or something, they only ever show you one side of their playing, which is the side that they practiced for hours, for days or weeks leading up to that performance that you're getting to see.
But there's one thing he's not going to show you.
Other areas of their playing, their other skills very often take a back seat because they go on the back burner while that player is preparing for the performance that he has coming up. And the more advanced the guitar player is, the more true this is, because it's simply impossible to maintain all your skills at an equally high level all the time. And the reason I point this out is because oftentimes when we compare ourselves to other players who we think are better than us, what makes us feel bad isn't the exact video we're comparing ourselves against, but rather the story we tell ourselves around it. For example, when you go watch your favorite player play at a clinic or something and you see him nail one of his toughest songs at the drop of a hat, like damn near perfectly with seemingly no warm-up time, it's easy to think that this guy is not only great for nailing this song just now, but I bet he could also nail every single other song in his repertoire at the drop of a hat just like that, which is very often not the case. Because what you're not seeing are the hours and hours this guy spent over the past week or two practicing that song to perfect it for that night he had to perform it for you. So if you instead just change the story you tell yourself about this and say, okay, this guy is great for nailing the song just now and he's great in general, which is why I'm here watching him play, but let me not read too much into this. If you do that, it becomes easy to catch your negative emotions before they spiral out of control and make you feel too bad about yourself. On a related note, when you watch somebody play something flawlessly on YouTube or Instagram, you're only seeing the one perfect take that they decided to publish online. You're not seeing the 149 other takes that probably took them to nail that part perfectly. Let alone the fact that some people edit the audio in their videos before they post them so they sound more perfect than they do, same way people touch up their pictures in Photoshop before they post them on Instagram, but that's beside the point. Meanwhile, while you are practicing, or while you are on take 131 of that Hotel California solo that you're trying to compare to seemingly one perfect take of that guy on Instagram, it's easy to forget that you're going through the same things that guy probably also went through, he just didn't publish it online. By the way, side note, if you're in the heat of a recording session and you keep discarding take after take because you think they all suck and you can do much better, take a little 20-minute break, then come back, listen to them again with a clear head, and I bet you will find they sound way better than you thought they did when you first recorded them. The point is, while you're drooling over somebody's seemingly perfect take on Instagram or whatever, it's easy to assume or tell yourself that story once again, that that person just rolled out of bed, combed his hair, picked up the guitar without even warming up, just nailed the thing in one take. Well, 9 times out of 10, that's not what happens. Same way as actors don't typically nail their speaking parts the first time through in one take in a movie, in case you didn't know that.
Harvey, I don't remember my line.
Next, when you see great players play live, especially when you're right there in the audience and aren't just watching it on YouTube after the fact, they often make way more mistakes than they ever let on. And most times, people don't notice anything either because they're on their phone half the time, or because in your mind, you already hear the song perfectly as it goes on the record. And if one of the musicians on stage makes a slight flaw, typically you just gloss over it because in your mind, you're already hearing the song perfectly anyway. And one of the tells of a truly great pro-level player, by the way, isn't that they never make mistakes, because that's just not being human, but that they're able to play through mistakes and make it look as much as possible like nothing happened. They do this by keeping a poker face basically, and not like swearing loudly or turning their face like this when they make a mistake, but they're able to just play through it like nothing happened, and they land on their feet, as it were, and just keep playing through the rest of the song like there was no mistake. This specific thing of being able to play through mistakes is a skill you want to practice if you ever want to play at a pro level. Not that you're not trying to do your very best to play without mistakes in the first place, duh, but you just know that mistakes are going to come up, that's just the reality of it, and you want to practice playing through mistakes if and when they do come up. Meanwhile, most guitar players suffer from what's known as the spotlight effect. This is where if you make even the teeniest, tiniest mistake on stage, like you bend the string slightly out of tune or something, you're now confident that every single person in the audience has heard the mistake, every single person in the audience now hates you for it, and everybody in the audience is now tweeting or posting on Instagram or Facebook about what a shitty guitar player you are. This is another example of those stories we often tell ourselves, whether they are true or not, and because of that, it starts making you feel worse about yourself, and it leads to even more mistakes on stage that you then show all over your face because you can't play through mistakes very well because you haven't practiced that skill either, and before you know it, playing live on stage becomes a horrible experience and you don't want to do it anymore. When all you have to do is just remember the spotlight effect, and remember to zoom out and be more objective about what's happening, and that great players go through something very, very similar as what you're going through, then practice playing through mistakes weeks, and before you know it, you'll be a whole lot more calm while performing, and you'll play a whole lot better, and you'll enjoy yourself a whole lot more. And lastly, if you're going to compare yourself to guitar players who are way better than you, and let's face it, we're all going to keep doing it, doesn't matter how often we hear not to compare ourselves to other people, right? Well, if you're going to do it anyway, at least compare apples to apples. What I mean by that is don't compare your guitar playing skill level today to somebody else's guitar playing skill level, because that's never a fair fight. Instead, compare your practice habits to their practice habits. Because practice habits are the actual drivers of progress. Those are the things that actually make you better, and more importantly, you can very easily change your practice habits today, and as a result of that, begin improving much faster as well. And if you want to know what some of the practice habits the great players use to improve as quickly as they do, check out the link in the description of this video. Go to the page on the screen right now. I'm going to show you 5 guitar playing progress accelerators that I discovered after over 20 years of playing and teaching guitar. These are not exercises or licks or any of that. These are mindset shifts you can make when you're practicing today to begin making better and faster progress as soon as tomorrow. And best part is, you can do this without practicing even a minute longer than you do right now. If you want to know what these things are, check out the link in the description, enter your email address, I'll send you the video for free. And speaking of improving your practice habits, one of the best ways to do that is to stop doing the things that are killing your gains. I've got a video right here that goes over some of the biggest guitar playing progress killers that could be eating away your progress every time you practice without you realizing it. I highly recommend you watch it next.